Now, and it's just a few hours to that crucial meeting between the University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG, and the National Labour Commission. But it's unclear if UTAG will make it to the negotiation table. The association called a strike 2 days ago over their concerns and conditions of service, and mainly a failure of stakeholders to stick to an earlier agreement. The NLC says the action of UTAG is surprising since government was already addressing their concerns. But UTAG insists the Commission has only acted in the interest of government. There's more in the following report.
The lecturers going on strike at this particular point in time is a very unfortunate news for us.
During the pandemic, we were given a short period to study a lot of stuff. We wouldn't want that to happen again.
Students are already dreading the implications of the action, even though lectures are yet to commence. The academic calendar has previously been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. A quick resolution is all that matters for now.
Been in level 200 for a long time. I can think UTAG would not really stretch it that much, and government will respond to them so that we would the academic calendar will be back on track.
The NLC says industrial action is surprising. Ofosu Asamoah is executive secretary of the commission.
As at last week, I was of the view that things were getting solved because they seem to have agreed on a few things as far back as October and until last week, when one of their very last demands amongst others, that is the access to the labor survey report, was given to them.
But UTAG disagrees. Dr. Samuel Bert Boedi-Kusi is president of UCC UTAG.
Let me just correct an impression. The impression is that we were only interested in the labor market survey, and once we have it, that should be it. I think that is a wrong one. I think that the NLC boss should look at it again.
It is further demanding that the NLC remains impartial.
You might have seen in the media the boss of the NLC going about making statements that are mostly falsehood to the effect. So you look at it, it's like their behavior is like they are an appendage of government. So you are not sure of how fair they would be when they are going to discuss.
CEO of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, Ben Arthur, says UTAG must return to the negotiation table.
The mechanisms through which you will be able to have better conditions is through negotiation. The wage fixing mechanism that we have in this country is through negotiation. So when you go on strike, distancing yourself from engagement, how are we able to reach such an agreement?
Okay, so
it's for this reason that we called on National Labour Commission to intervene.
Well, UTAG says it does not have confidence in the ability of the NLC to fairly address the issues that have necessitated their strike.
Yes, we have taken note of the invitation. We are talking to our legal experts on that. We will respond appropriately. But I mean, even that in this age and time, I mean, we don't talk about because of COVID-19 issues. People have vaccinated, and people are holding events. So why limit attendance to only 2? But
COVID is still with us. It's still, the numbers are still very high. Don't you think
we are not disputing that. I'm a health person. We are not disputing that. But I mean, we are attending events in larger numbers than 2. So what is it? What is so special about NLC invitation? I mean, we can do with more numbers than that. But I mean, as I said, we will honor the invitation. I'm not too sure whether tomorrow or any other day because of the way we are scattered. But it's important for us to add that yes, we have received the invitation. We'll talk to our legal brains, and it is our hope that we'll honor the invitation.
So what do you anticipate? What would you like to see tomorrow? What would you like to hear from the NLC as you get into this meeting tomorrow?
Honestly, we don't expect. I mean, the NLC has been at it. That is the game they play. I mean, we don't expect any outcome than they saying that. Call off your strike and go back to the negotiation table and all that. We don't expect anything different from that. But you see,
so in other words, just to clarify, you don't expect much from tomorrow's confab. You think it's just going to be another pretentious act from the NLC. That's what you're saying.
I mean that is what we know, and I'm sure your guess is as good as mine. You wait till after the meeting, and you see exactly what the outcome will be. right? So the point is that I have heard, yesterday in the evening, I listened to the Fairwages boss, talking about the point, the fact that review of the labor market survey and review of the energy market premium is a prerogative of the government and all that. Yes, nobody is disputing that. But if it's a prerogative of the government and there's nothing to negotiate about, then what are you putting us to the table to go and do? Because we do not have any say. I can say without any doubt that we're not expecting any meaningful outcome. And I use meaningful in quotes, not to disrespect anybody, but in terms of making a headway so far as this whole impasse is concerned, we are not expecting, because we know that NLC most likely will be at it again, just as they have started issuing statements and finding faults with even the processes that we have. That is what the game they have always played. They usually wait and find fault with every labor union that goes on strike. NLC will find fault with them. Meanwhile, they do not police the documents that are agreed to ensure that there is peace, to ensure that the employer also meets its part of the bargain. Now, it's about mind-boggling that NLC will always do that.
Meanwhile, Labour consultant Austin Gamey says government must be transparent in its discussions with UTAG.
The employer has a responsibility to engage them now. I'm not talking about tomorrow, today, so that they can understand and appreciate the challenges they have, but on condition that they will not be vilified in the public domain the way we have been doing it. They are not, excuse my language, they are not stupid people. They are lecturers. They know what to do, and therefore, if we vilify them in public domain the way we sometimes do, as if they don't know, they will get entrenched, and that will make life very difficult for all of us. Let them be spoken to, and I can tell you on authority that they will listen. They know what to do. If they have to go back to school, they will go. But if the employer do not have at all, there is nothing absolutely anybody can do.
Dr. Nunu is the national president of UTAG. He joins us on the phone. Doc, has your position been finalized now regarding tomorrow's meeting?
Yes, we'll be attending the meeting on Thursday as planned. Yes.
Come again, sir.
Yes, we just closed the next meeting where we took a decision that we are attending the meeting on Thursday. So Thursday we'll be there. And the meeting has been shifted from Wednesday to Thursday.
Very well.
So we'll be there.
Very well. And up until now, it appears you have an entrenched position on this issue. Essentially, you expect the NLC to toe the government line. That the experts say is not good for negotiations. How are you approaching this now?
Our position is not an entrenched one. We believe that it's a direct one, only asking the employer to get certain things done for us. The employer has not said he's unable to do that. Just that the employer keeps shifting his position. In one breath, the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission tells us that come to the table and let's negotiate. In another breath, he tells you that no, what you're asking for is non-negotiable. You cannot negotiate it. We decide what to give you. So we are actually having a very flexible position, but unfortunately, it's the employer who has taken an entrenched position and not too sure what he even wants to do.
And there was a limitation placed on the representation you could make at that meeting. The NLC says because of COVID restrictions, only 2 will be allowed into the meeting. Are you okay with that? And who is representing you?
No, when it comes to representing us, asking for only 2, that is not good enough, because you look at from our employer side, they have the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Employment and Labor Relations, Ministry of Finance, they have Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, and all of these groups are going to have 2 representations each. You look at us, and we have 15 campuses, and all 15 campuses normally have representation. So we've actually written to them asking that if they could increase the representation from the original 2 they gave us to 6. So that is what we have written to them officially this afternoon, waiting for their response.
And can we expect that by the end of the meeting Thursday, we should have made some headway as far as this impasse is concerned?
We are hopeful that we will be able to make a headway, but it all depends on the position that will be taken at the table.
We're grateful for your time. That's Professor Solomon Nunu, President of UTAG, the national president, joining us on their strike and the meeting with the NLC.